to get things started on the most sensational, inspirational, celebrational, motivational. This is what we call a morning show.
I think so.
Is it happening?
Yeah, I just started.
Oh my gosh, you just started it?
Yeah.
Wow.
We're on the morning show now.
Welcome to the morning show.
Welcome to the morning show.
Welcome to the morning show.
And welcome to the morning show.
Good to see you.
You too, Mimi. How's it going? Cheers. Good morning.
Good morning.
It's a good morning to you.
It's always a good morning.
Every day is always a good morning.
At ITP.
At ITP. It's true. It happens. That's what happens on the morning show.
Mm-hmm. No, to me, the moonwalk is not regularly rated until people are moonwalking down the streets. But if everybody was moonwalking,
I think
maybe we could have lanes. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, moonwalking lanes. Right.
The infrastructure of the city needs to support this.
Yeah, an extra lane. This is a Bloomberg initiative.
This is, yeah.
Moonwalking
Straight from the ITP morning show to Bloomberg.
Dear Mike. Or it's is Christine Quinn getting the tap? You heard it here first.
Heard it here first.
Yeah. Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I mean, how much room do you need for moonwalking lanes? And actually, is it 8 feet? Like, are there multiple lanes within the moonwalking lanes? Like, let's go outside and have a walking meeting.
Yeah.
Let's go outside and have a moonwalking meeting. Oh, but it's dangerous. It's okay. We've got a moonwalking lane.
Like the HOV lane, right?
The HOV lane, right?
It's the moonwalking equivalent of the HOV lane.
Yeah.
Except, in a sense, stretch thing. Just let it work. Let it slide. It's not quite a perfect analogy, but I think it's getting there. Yeah, it's the equivalent. We also need to change the sidewalk stuff because that concrete is not the best for moonwalking.
No.
What we basically need is like the dance studio wooden floors.
All the whole thing.
Yeah.
Nice.
Everywhere.
It's gotta be teak, right? Teak weather.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Teak.
I like that word.
A lot of teak.
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 Mm-hmm.
Hey!
Oh my gosh!
Hey, our guest has arrived.
Ladies and gentlemen, please meet our special guest this morning.
Oh, we're
Dun,
live.
da, da,
No, we're not live. We've just been recording.
Yeah, we're always recording. No problem.
All right, excellent. We were just talking about installing an extra lane for moonwalking, especially.
Urban planning.
Right, that's good. Right, yeah, you need the sort of the highly slicked moonwalking lane. Work your way backwards down Broadway.
Exactly.
There was a blizzard in the 90s that was so bad that they shut down Broadway. But the Broadway shows, the show must go on. The shows are still going, and there were people doing cross-country skiing down Broadway. And everyone was like, "We need a cross-country skiing. This is the future of urban transportation."
I remember one time, I grew up in Houston, and it flooded one time,
Right.
and I remember looking out the window, and my neighbors were literally canoeing down the streets.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
And was your house flooded?
Our house raises up, because the sidewalk leads to the door, so you could stand at the front door and look down and see.
Oh wow, intense.
Yeah, it was really intense. It was great. I wanted to go, but my mom was like, too dangerous.
Yeah.
So I stay in the house.
Blizzard of '96. It was like rain, sleet, snow, rain, sleet, freezing. So basically, our front lawn had turned to just ice. I was kind of light enough at the time that I got a pair of ice skates on and went out and tried to ice skate on my front lawn.
Love it.
Yeah, that was good.
I like that.
That was good.
Heck.
What's the? Oh, just quick.
Yeah.
Just curious how you guys are doing this.
Yeah. So we didn't have questions really, but we had one question. I heard a rumor, a little bit about what made you sort of was the hobby you had, getting people together, and having dinner parties, and setting up situations sort of scientifically.
It wasn't scientific. But there was a certain art to it. Yeah, this is back when in particular when I lived in Williamsburg, and it's funny. I just was down at the Worcester Group, the theater company where I used to work, and for a long time my dinner table was the old back door of the Worcester Group. They had this incredible sort of graffitied, it had, millions of wheat paste posters from bands and graffiti on it, and they were getting rid of it to get a new door because the junkies had tried to jimmy it open. And I thought, that door is so gorgeous, I can't see it go. So I just bolted a bunch of steel pipes to the bottom to make legs and turned that into my dining room table. Yeah, but we would do. It was a sort of a every Friday night I'd make a big pot of couscous, and then, or every Saturday night, because I hadn't had Saturday to make the couscous, make a big pot of couscous and then have people over. And I started experimenting with sort of what groups of people make what sorts of dynamics. And one thing I would do is whenever the second guest arrived, no, whenever the third guest arrived, I would pick two of the guests. I would always forget something, and I'd pick two of the guests and say, "You two, who you usually pick two people who didn't know each other. You have to go to the grocery store. We need some vanilla ice cream, whatever." So it seemed like more people were arriving because the doorbell kept ringing. It was a small number of people, but it was like people kept piling into the party. And it took two people who didn't know each other, made them get to know each other, because you don't want that clumping of, the people who know each other well do all the talking, the people who don't know each other don't do any of the talking. So yeah, a certain amount of it's just sort of the art of hosting. There was a thesis project a few years ago where every day for 30 days somebody made breakfast at ITP, but then filmed the entire thing from above. Oh. And so she had 30 days of video data of people's interactions around this breakfast table. And she'd make eggs, she'd make pancakes, whatever, and she would set the table, and anybody who wanted to come in early could get breakfast here. Some of the same sorts of social experiments.
Was there anything that you learned from doing all of it?
It's good to have the doorbell ring a lot. I think the big thing is, in a group of people, there is some threshold, or really there's a pair of thresholds. If nobody knows anybody, the party's just a nerd, right? Everybody, hi, how are you? If too many people know each other, those people will clump together, and the people on the outside will feel like, this is like a high school reunion, and I didn't go to that high school. So there's this middle zone where everybody should know somebody, but nobody should know everybody. And that's and often if I'm putting together a conference or gathering a group of people, one of the things I've learned to do is figure out who I want to invite, but then also figure out in that list who they should invite. So I'll say to somebody, can you come to this? We're having a brainstorming session on X, and can you invite someone that I don't know who you think should be there? There's an interesting piece of software called Branch. There are a lot of people experimenting now with new forms of structured comments, basically, structured conversation, Quora, Stack Overflow kind of thing. And what Branch does is they say you start with a small list of people who will come and have this conversation, but people in the branch can invite new participants. So it's not completely open to comments, so you don't get those floods of you people are all stupid. Mm-hmm. But when someone says, "Oh, my friend's a lawyer who works on exactly this issue," you can pull that person in. And it works really well.
And this is Branch?
Branch is the piece of software. But it's this same idea of, very often the people you most want to meet is not someone plucked at random from the fabric of New York City, but it's also not someone you know or know of. It's someone that thinks you should know. It's that moment when someone says, maybe you ought to meet this person. You've never heard their name, they've never heard your name, but I have a feeling you two will like each other for, on whatever sort of professional or personal access. And that, figuring out how to get that middle zone is a hard bit of work.
That reminds me of this, I think it's Mark Granovetter, someone like that, right? He's got that article about
how do people find jobs. Exactly right. Strength of weak ties.
Yeah.
And right, the Granovetter turned sociology upside down with that article, because everybody up until the mid-1970s, when he did that work in Boston, everybody thought, you get jobs through your tight network, right? There's the people you see all the time, there's your coworkers, there's your family. And Granovetter said it turns out that the people you know a little bit, they are, for the obvious reason in retrospect, they're the people likeliest to have information that you don't have.
Exactly.
Right? Your best friend does not have very much information that you don't have, because you and they trade that information all the time. It's the people you run into. It's the kind of pinball-y stuff. And in fact, one of the reasons that, it's funny, I've been thinking about this a lot because we're just going through admissions. So one calculation for admissions, the obvious one is this person, able to and minded to do the kind of work that goes on in ITP? But another calculation is, will this person be a good addition to the mix? Right? Because it can't be all engineers, and it can't be all designers, and it can't be all, people from can't be all people from the United States, it can't be all people from Korea. And so you start to think about on the margins of who would be good to have come here. What would the whole class feel like? And one of the incredible things that's happened in the dozen years I've been here is the institution has just become more and more international. The current crop of first years is, I think, like 45%. It's like 55, 45. From the looks of admissions, sometime in the next couple of years, we're going to have 50-50 U.S. and international community, which increases that sort of diversity that Brandon was talking about. You are for that?
Oh
as well?
yeah,
Definitely.
we have a whole YouTube channel. You should.
Uh-huh.
All right.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Cheers.
All right. Cheers. Coffee toast.
Coffee toast.
Tea.
Tea, of course. Okay.
Indeed. Great.